What's going on, y'all? It's Jason More Reviews here, back at it again with another video. This time, another just regular bar-for-bar review on Mike P versus Chilla Jones, the last battle to drop from the To Live and To Die in LA card. I got a couple bar-for-bar coming up also, just saying it now. Mac Myron versus Enes just went down on RBE, and I'm going to be probably doing a bar-for-bar for that, if not tomorrow, Wednesday. But back to this video, the topic at hand, Mike P versus Chilla Jones. Good battle. I know that overall from the card, took forever to get on the app, but I'm happy it did, and all the footage is really, really good for the most part. There's been some complaints about gas, some difference from opinions in the building, but overall, I still think, no matter how you feel about any particular battle, the footage still ended up good. And I just thought, it was actually a pretty good event all in all with all the battles that came out, and Mike P versus Chilla Jones definitely follows that pattern. Pretty dope, and then plus when we're talking about a guy like Chilla, I think Mike is trying to take a step in the more heavily layered written direction, but we talk about a guy like Chilla, bar for bars are necessary. But without further ado, let's just hop right into the first round. So we start out first round on Mike P. He had something about hell, Barry Chill. That was a pretty dope bar. I will say a little bit early, Mike comes out jabbing, maybe a couple misses, and overall is a pretty dry opening. He has other bars like here, like don't mention Silk, boy, you ain't smooth enough. Thought that was a pretty cool flip. Talks about Chilla's losing streak for a while. Talked about doing like a taco scheme versus Chilla Jones just to get refried. So it was cool, but a lot of just cool stuff to start. And towards the second half of his first, I think that's where he picks up and is able to make this a serviceable round. But let's enter chill, exit fire. Thought that was pretty dope. I'm not going to take a break, relax, or take a breather till chill out, take and chill out. That was a pretty good bar too. And then this is when he gets into his first definitive haymaker for the round. It took a long time to get here, but talking about how good he is on the card no matter what. 99% of the time, I'm good on the plate like Spanish rice. That was fire. Talking about knock Chilla. He'll go from tough to slump, bold to italic, the bold italic, that Microsoft Word shit, that was fire. And then white boy, stick him up. Can I speak to yo manager? So towards the end, I think he picks up specifically with the Spanish rice and the bold to italic line. I think those are the stick out really good bars, but has a pretty dry opening there. But it still comes out to an okay first, it's still a serviceable first. And then Chilla starts right out with the you got gentlemen's 30, you ain't been good since. This actually came out before the Rum Nitty freestyle. I know that some of you might even know this bar from the Rum Nitty freestyle, calling people out. But, Chilla said this is a pretty decent bar. I thought it was decent. Both of them said thought it was okay. But now that bad news, P on my hands. Talk about Mike P, the challenge on his hands. Good news, I get to get this gunpowder off. P on the hands, get the gunpowder off. The residue, that was fucking fire. I like that. We ain't seen a Drake and P coat since comeback season. Thought that was good. And this is something you're going to notice immediately is that Chilla is just a little bit more layered than Mike here, just a little bit more sound. And it leads to him hitting, instead of having a build-up punch, which I think Mike is having to do a lot in the first, and something that he's done with his style. There's a lot more build-up punch. I think it's hurt his style. I would like him to go back to angling a little bit, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you could just see for Chilla here, if you're going to go bar for bar, Chilla's going to hit every bar is at least decent. He is a PMS. I'll leave PMS scheme. It menstruals a couple references in there. And I know that the period schemes can be a little bit overdone, but the PMS, I thought that was pretty fire. You battled B-Dot and you died staring at 5, like Booker T. That was fire. Pull up have the Lincoln Park Mike Shinoda vibes, crazy. Oh my god, smack battle, and he got an open mic. And by this point, I was pretty comfortable with edging Chilla around, and then he lands got one up on 12 like a baker's dozen. Talk about police, the name flip. Right there, I pretty much gave him the round off of the baker's dozen haymaker. And then towards the end, he is the Phillies cat bar, the Goonies, you weren't even a test for drugs, even the hold it over mic, the can over P, it was a canopy bar, so just landed, consecutively. Really, really good first from Chilla. Good to see him bounce back after being in a slump for quite some time. And while I won't say it's the clearest of clear rounds, per se, I don't know, it's pretty clear for me. I'll say it's a comfy edge. I don't think he blew him out, but I think there's an edge there that we should be able to see. So going into the second, I had Chilla 1-0. And then into the second we go, and to me, this is the clearest round of the battle. Starts on Mike. The URL was putting these matchups together, And I forgot how the particular cadence that he set it up. I can't mimic, but he said, "Who lost their last few? That's me, and that's you." Talk about how they put the matchup together, and it was really fucking funny. And one thing I want to say about this battle is Mike's. When Mike gets into his comedy bag, I think he's really really good in that bag. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he could try it for half rounds and stuff like that, but I feel like he really limits it. Then we're gonna find a couple lines in here where he just tries to be funny real quick, but like that was funny as hell. And I would have loved to kind of see him consist with that bag, maybe level out their careers type of angle. I don't know, it's just my opinion. And it ain't. Then talk about Chilla's career, saying how trying to downplay Chilla's career, saying there's no legacy, and said it ain't even your story that sucks, it's the lack of it, which was fire. That talk to him, that angle bag, that's what I like from Mike P. I thought that was a very good bar right there. And then leading into the who's gonna be with a bad flitch, a bad flitch, a bad bitch, Netflix and chill, like searching up chill. Netflix and chill bar, which we've heard before, but the way he built up the angle, talked about the career before, it ain't your story, it's the lack of it, leads to the Netflix and chill bar landing as a haymaker, and it is a haymaker, and it is a very good start to this second for Mike P. And then he gets into the part of the round, which personally, this is where my critiques come in. Here, and we don't care if it's here or not, just like you. So he would try to finish off on a humongous punch for that angle kind of about Chilla's legacy, and it just doesn't land. It kind of misses. Gets into an angle about Chilla's girl apparently made a fake profile. Talk about Chilla might be fucking some girl, made a fake profile about his girl. You can't make fun of my girl when your girl wants to be my girl. And I mean, it was written pretty well and it got reaction. I just don't know the validity of the angle. It just seemed a little random. I mean, he delivered it for what it was. It was good, but I personally hadn't bought into the angle, which makes it hard for me to buy into the rapping part of it, if the content itself I'm still a question mark on. And then after that, he spends pretty much the whole back half of his round with like a approach about Twitter trolls, and I believe he uses the term internet narratives. And listen, the battle rap community on Twitter and stuff, it could be rough. We were all part of it. We know it's cutthroat, but man, the worst thing that you could do is fold into it more, and that's why you don't see many people super folding into the trolls usually as battlers, because it's a lose-lose. Now you got a half angle about internet narratives. I'm just not a fan of it. I didn't like it. I feel like it kind of goes to, reinforce this thing about Mike P being in his own head a little bit. And then Chilla goes, and Chilla's second is just fucking fantastic, and he takes this round pretty clear. You know who else has patterns? Well, Mike has patterns. You know who else has patterns, Mike? Serial killers. Fire. Fendi fit. F your patterns, like a Fendi fit. Thought that was dope. He's an alliteration bar where a bunch of words with P in a row, and he says P fronted every word. That was alliteration. Haymaker. The 10 and 2 scheme, which I'm sure you've seen, has gone viral. Twitter. It's definitely the standout, bar of the battle, moment of the battle. And even though K-Shine had done a 10 and 2 scheme, we've heard some 10 and 2 bars. I feel like this was the deepest, the most references. The wife handling the will, like 10 and 2. The will, like after he dies, and the wheel. I thought that was a crazy double, regardless if you might think the scheme's been done before. If micro braids, I got extensions. The MPC bar. You got 30'd in a one-rounder. I'm body shaming. Talk about the Geechee battle. Dope. Even ends on a cool little potty training bar. So Chilla got the second clear, his best round of the battle. Probably Mike's worst. So I had Chilla 2-0 pretty clear going into the third round. And that gets us into the third, and what I would probably consider the closest round of the battle. Starting on Mike, once again, a very good comedy bar, saying, when's the last time y'all walked away from a smack event that Chilla was on and said, damn, it was a good event, but the way Chilla schemed about deli meat, it, made fun of it like, oh, Chilla's always rapping about some absurd shit. Really, really fucking funny. Something, rum nitty, bow. Now he's all in spaces, bum nitty, haymaker. I like that. Shout out to my fucking boy, Bum Nitty. One of the best people in this culture, bringing people together and shit. But, side note off of that, great haymaker, the Bum Nitty haymaker. And then he has the chauffeur bar, like, what do you have to show for Chill? I believe he kind of went in his career again. I think it might have been about pricing. Can't remember the exact context of it, but I remember, chauffeur bar, chauffeur it. It kind of missed in the room. And then from there, talked about his shooters, said, oh, you got him in a casket. Is he dead in there? Don't jinx it. Knock on wood. Kind of got slept on. I thought that was fire. Had a Johnny Depp defame Amber. There's going to be an Amber Heard bar. Thought that was pretty fire, too. Mike has a pretty good third here, and that's why it's, the closest round of the battle. Chilla's got every scheme but a marketing one. I like that. Might be my favorite bar of the battle for Mike. And when he actually attacks Chilla for maybe career choices in stock, I think that is when he's at his best here. Not even that, people are going to leave it up for debate. Well, how's he going to do that? Chilla has a better career, blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. His approach, some valid points that he brings up. I think when he's really attacking his opponent personally, particularly in the business kind of way, going after, especially a guy like Chilla who's kind of known for having some questionable booking, making some questionable matchup decisions. I just thought more of that would have probably gotten Mike the battle. Really, really good when he got into that bag. And then, but after that, he has a, just because you got an official stamp, then you get a big body bitch. Talk about Chilla getting fat. So it was a pretty just solid third from Mike, pretty sound beginning to end. And then Chilla goes, they won't give that angle a rest if they know it's police's department, and talks about it's not the same angle we've kind of heard about Mike's girl. He says it's the angle about the angle. Be thankful. So I'm a flip tonight. I'm a flip P and let her be, let her be. P, capital P upside down, looks like a lowercase b. Pretty fire all the way around, in a way of kind of working around, working the angle without really working the angle. He's working Mike's defense to the angle, not the situation that's been talked about in itself. So that was good. Talking about his girl, she was happy at the event, and then Mike was upset. So she handheld Mike the whole event like Summer Madness 1. Angle about the angle. I thought that was very, very fire. He had a Mike static because he's not, willing to hear feedback bar. Talking about him leaving, I believe it was YTG. It was cool. And then even Chilla has a little bit of comedy with the "You cried after Gnome." Like, I just moved to Florida. It was pretty funny the way that he leads it up. Didn't lead to anything big, but it's just a pretty good bar. And then he hits a couple at the end here. The PTSD, every post-traumatic. Talk about Mike's Twitter post, post-traumatic. So that was dope. Issa Rae for this Insecure dude. The Issa Rae Insecure, the song. That was a good flip. Mike's all over the room like a podcast. Even had his own Amber Heard bar to end the battle. So really close third. Like you see here, not many haymakers either way. Some stuff I liked from both, but it was tough for me. I think that Mike had probably the peaks here in the third that I like more, the bum nitty haymaker. But it's just sparing. I think Chilla still was a little more consistent bar to bar. And that's why even in the third, I edged Chilla Jones. And I gave this battle to Chilla Jones, Gentleman's 30. And that will be my full review here for Mike P versus Chilla Jones. Dope battle. I think a pretty good direction. Step in the direction for both guys, coming off of, probably kind of slumps for both of them. I think particularly with Chilla, this is a good win. I do have it as a pretty clear win. I have him pretty comfortably taking the first two. You can give the third to Mike, absolutely super razor sharp round. So if you want to call it Chilla 2-1, I'm down with that. But I just think it's a good win. As for Mike, losing streak continues, but I do think this was a good performance regardless. I will say one thing I didn't touch on very much that I might have hinted at. His defense, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because of the way that he's kind of attacked by the community, which I do think Mike gets like a lot of shit. But Mike also with the way that he reacts to it, whether it's fair or not, and this community, when they see it affects you a little bit, they're going to come at you more and more and more. That's battle rap, you know what I'm saying? If people call it toxic, but it's just a sport that you get pressed a lot in, man. It's definitely a competitive environment. A lot of shit talking. A lot of it isn't even personal. It's just the way things go here, man. But I do think that his defense, like I said, is a little bit off. Talking through rounds, kind of, it just doesn't help add to it. I don't even think he's like, oh, you're super emotional. It's not that. But it's clearly just trying to work the camera a little bit, trying to call things out as lies. Maybe it's just part of how he's choosing to brand himself now, kind of play maybe that villain-esque role to the people. But I just think it hurts in this battle. Maybe if he isn't as defensive, kind of trying to talk, respond to lines while Chilla's rapping, I think maybe it'll look a little bit closer, but that's just my 2 cents on it. I just think sometimes the standing there firm rapping, just works out. He had a couple funny moments where, he interrupted him. Like, I think Chilla said, oh, you got smoked by Geechee and T-Top. He's like, facts. That's funny. Comedic shows personality, but if you do it a little bit too much, you look a little bit crazy. And also, just because I didn't get to review it on this channel, Tink versus Jay was another good battle from this event. I had Tink 2-1. Jay kind of choked the third. I feel like nobody's talking about that, but if you made it this far to the end of the video, I didn't get to do a recap then. I was in the airport around Houston around then, so I didn't get to even though I wanted to, so my little opinion on it right here. Tink got the first clear, second debatable. I edged Jay, and then the third round, Jay would have won, but he choked, and I just feel like people aren't really mentioning that, even though Tink had a pretty decent third. But yeah, overall, guys, little talk there about the To Live to Die in LA event. But dope battle, like I said, gentlemen's 30 for Chilla. Good footage for both, and thanks both gentlemen for putting this battle on. And it's been Jay Small Reviews here. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.